Hey, Phil Long family, Dr. Scott Uhald here, and I'd like to welcome you to the November edition of the Wealth of Health newsletter. And in this edition, we're going to talk about National Veterans and Military Families Month, and we're going to interview retired Colonel Bob McLaughlin, who runs the Mount Carmel Veterans Service Center here in Colorado Springs, and we're going to get some of his input on what it is to be a veteran and transitioning out of the service. Hey, when we get done interviewing Colonel Bob, make sure you stick around because I've got some great ideas to share with you about how emotional wellness can encourage positive mental health. Now, the two are different, but they are definitely intertwined, and by practicing emotional wellness, it can definitely improve your mental outlook. And now I'd like to introduce Colonel Bob McLaughlin and get his insight on what it's like to be a military veteran.
Hello, I'm Bob McLaughlin. I'm the Executive Director of the Mount Carmel Veterans Service Center. I've been operating in this position for about 9 years. We've been serving here at the center for about 7 years. Well, for the Veteran Service, and I'm proud of everything that we do. You know, when you look at what's important for our military and veterans, transition is incredibly important, whether you're transitioning out of the military, transitioning to a new job, transitioning from a life crisis. We're here to help all of that with employment, with counseling, with supportive services. You know, we have a great program called Next Chapter with UC Health, which is really designed to prevent suicide, but really it's about providing hope where someone might be hopeless, to give them a leg up so that they can become a productive member of society this week, next week, or next year. And then we are the State Veteran Business Outreach Center to help entrepreneurs and small business owners. So when you look at the myriad of services that we provide, it's really about access to those services in a timely manner, and that we have people on the staff that care and will provide support immediately to those who might need it. Well, I retired in 2014 as an Army colonel. I served in the Army for 29 years. Probably what I'm most proud of in service is being with great Americans of all ranks that served our nation in some of the most tumultuous times, whether it was service in Iraq or Afghanistan. I served in the Balkans, in Africa. Every place I was, people stepped up to help each other. They were brave, they were honorable, they served with integrity. And to me, that's probably the most important thing that I experienced with all Americans, men, women, all ethnicities, just incredible people coming together for a higher cause as part of a great team. Well, you know, Veterans Day is coming up on the 11th of November. This month is obviously special, where on Veterans Day people pay tribute to veterans. You know, there's special discounts for veterans, there's parades. It's just an opportunity for, you know, as you go through the year in our country, that people pay special attention to service and sacrifice that our military members are continuing to make and that veterans have made throughout, you know, history. Well, whenever there's events, you know, you can attend Veterans Day events. There's a parade in Colorado Springs, which is fun. Hopefully it's not too cold. But anytime you thank a military member or a veteran, and when you acknowledge them, many of the older veterans wear their hats. They're, you know, normally a black hat that has their service and their branch on it. And, you know, what I've experienced as a veteran myself is many people just say thank you, you know, for your service. And that means something to be acknowledged. Not many veterans are looking for that, but it's always appreciated when someone acknowledges the service of someone who's sacrificed for our nation. Well, probably with regards to Mount Carmel, we're here to help. There's 3 things that are important for Mount Carmel and our veterans, that nobody falls through the cracks, that we're able to help somebody in need. So if people know of a veteran, military member, or family member that needs services, we're here to help them. That's probably the most important thing. And then if you have a talent that you want to lend either through volunteering or service. We're here to help with that. And of course, if people want to support us, we're always willing to take support so we can continue to do this great work.
Hey, Colonel Bob, that was some great information, some excellent insight on what it's like to be a military veteran. Because the reality is, I'm a dependent myself. My father was a retired colonel for 36 years in the Air Force. And really, being in the military is quite different than being a civilian. You're actually at the wherefore-alls of the military. When they tell you that you're going to move, you're going to move. When they tell you that you're going overseas, you're going overseas. And you really don't have any rebuttal. You have to follow the orders that are put down by your military command. And just as an example, when I was younger, I moved 14 times in 11 years. Now, I did move to different houses on the same base, on Peterson Air Force Base, but we moved 14 times in 11 years. And especially when I was younger, moving from Washington to Colorado, to Tampa, Florida, to Laredo, Texas, Edwards Air Force Base out in California. That's a lot of transition, and especially as a young kid, you meet new friends, and then you move and you lose those friends. And so there's a big mental and emotional health stress that's on military families that the civilian population is really probably not familiar with. One thing that I'd like to mention that Colonel Bob made reference about, the military has Next Chapter to help them with some of their mental and emotional health needs. Here at Phil Long, I do want to remind you that we have our UNUM EAP program and our recently brought on benefit, our First Stop Health, which is online mental health support that you can get 24/7. So do realize that there are supports out there to help you when you are having an emotional or maybe a mental health crisis. And Phil Long truly supports those benefits and resources and would like you to take advantage of those when necessary. And it wouldn't be a Wealth of Health newsletter without me saying a little bit about emotional wellness that can encourage a positive mental outlook which influences your health and well-being. Emotional health is truly about being in tune with your feelings and your emotions. And like I said, it's not the exact same as mental health, but the two are intertwined and they influence each other quite a bit. So I'd like to give you some suggestions and some ideas that you can do that are emotionally based but can strengthen your mental outlook. And one of them, it's kind of a no-brainer, no pun intended, but get good quality sleep. You really need sleep because sleep is the time that your brain kind of resets itself and prepares for the next day. It gets rid of information it doesn't need and it stores the information it does need. So if you've been drinking, a lot of stress in your life, big meals when you go to bed, your blood flow to your brain is interrupted to manage other physiological principles that are going on with your sleep mode. So make sure that you get good sleep. We've covered that and given a number of good suggestions on how to improve your sleep if you struggle with sleep. Another thing is to be physically fit. And exercise in and of itself is good. It helps to break up stress hormones. And we definitely know that distressful hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, some of these ones that, again, we've mentioned in the past, in excess, they can lead to cardiovascular disease, they can lead to cancer. So managing stress through physical activity is a great way, again, to support your mental health and emotional well-being. Deep breathing is really a kind of short way of meditation, and just deep breaths in and of themselves, again, help to dissipate stress hormones. So take a few minutes out of your day. If you're having a stressful time at work, you might be anxious when you're driving your car. You obviously don't want to close your eyes and take deep breaths when you're driving, but take some deep breaths and help to relax and de-stress the situation at hand. A great thing that you can do is volunteer your time. We have our VTO program here at Phil Long, and doing things for others and paying back to others, it makes you feel good, and that actually brings up eustressful or healthful hormones that are related to the stress response. I just mentioned distress, but eustress is a healthful kind of stress, and volunteering and paying it back is a great way to generate those hormones that are inside your system. Now, this is hard for some of you guys, especially in the car business, but I highly encourage you to take some time and relax. Make some time for yourself. When's the last time that you did a hobby that you enjoy? Make time to do something with your spouse, with your children, and enjoy the moment. Don't worry about things that are going on in your life. Live for the moment, take advantage of those opportunities, because they really are few and far between in this stressful environment that we live in. There's only 24 hours in a day. A great thing to do is to journal and maybe organize your day, make a to-do list so that you know the important things that you can take care of first and foremost, and then the things that might not be as important but can still fill up your day, you can deal with those when needed. So a journaling list or a to-do list is a great way to help manage your day. It's also hard. Sometimes we have negative self-talk. We do things that, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just locked my keys in my car. How stupid was that? It's easy to immediately talk down to yourself. When you catch yourself doing that, and that's not easy to identify, but when you do, try to turn a negative into a positive. Wow, I just locked my keys in my car. Well, at least it's in my driveway, and I don't have to call a handyman to come open my car. I just go get my other key that's in the house. Those kinds of things. Try to find the good in something. It's easy to find the bad, and that can be a spiraling effect which leads to depression, and again, emotional sadness, mental health issues that permeate the American culture right now. And here's another thing, and this is difficult, but find people that you trust. And when you're feeling down, talk to them about that. Let people know how you feel. When you just hold things inside of you, eventually there's going to be so much inside of you, it's just going to take a little bit of an irritant and boom, you're just going to explode. That is not healthful. That's not good for your well-being emotionally or mentally. So find people that you can trust. I had mentioned again, if our EAP program, those folks will listen to you about very difficult situations and give you extremely useful advice on doing that. So in conclusion, Colonel Bob, thank you so much for your insight on Veterans Month and military family appreciation. I think it's a wonderful thing. If you see a veteran, say, hey, thank you for your service. We appreciate what you do. Because honestly, it's the military that keeps America safe. I hope that my input and my suggestions from the healthy habits perspective were beneficial for you. Practice those, and the more that you do them, the easier it will be to integrate into your lifestyle. And with that, good health, well-being, and a positive quality of life, mental outlook are just around the corner.